doing a story on your long snapper, Michael Pfeiffer, and he just was named the best long snapper in the entire country by the Special Teams University. I don't know much about that organization, but All-American's All-American. It's a tremendous honor. You think it's deserved?
Definitely deserving. And it's always the saying, if you don't hear about your long snappers, they're doing a good job. But, I mean, we've had a string of really good long snappers. Started off with Joe, and, we had guys before that, Josh Antol, and
Query.
yeah, and he's done a really good job. Pife's done a really good job, really consistent, good, he's done good in coverage, done a good job of protection, obviously good job of snapping. He's done a nice job this year.
Well, you mentioned about the run of long snappers. I mean, I'm not a college football coach, but I got to imagine it's not the easiest thing to find a quality long snapper, and that is a remarkable run where you as a coach, you haven't been worrying about long snapper.
Well, Coach Johns and Coach Davis, who used to be here, Justin Davis and Coach Johns, those are the two guys that scoured the country. They're looking for long snappers. Mm-hmm. And obviously they've done a really good job over the years in identifying those guys. And like you said, they've panned out well for us. But I think guys like Joe have kind of come and kind of set a precedent. Guys, hey, wouldn't mind coming to school here. It's a great school, long snap, full scholarship, maybe a shot to play in the league, right. So it's worked out for them.
Well, Pfeiffer seems to have taken a big step forward. I mean, I've talked to some people, got in the weight room, got a little bit bigger, stronger. I mean, do you think he has improved? I mean, the guy was the starting long snapper last year, but he didn't rest on his laurels and say, hey, I got this job. I don't really have to get any better. It sounded like he worked hard to get better.
Well, he like you said, he worked hard in the weight room, but I've just been impressed with him. He's worked really hard on his craft to try to be the best he could be, and really happy for him to receive this accolade. Is well deserving.
Well, SMU, how would you describe their offense and what they're doing? I don't think it's the same as the Kendall Bryles, Houston type offense. How would you describe what Sonny Dykes likes to do?
Yeah, well, they go fast. They like to throw the football. They do it really, really well, really balanced. I think they're throwing for over 300, rushing it for about 200. So the numbers are really, really good. Like I said, they're really balanced. They take what you give them. If you take away the run, they're going to throw it. If you take away the pass, they're going to run it. So they're really efficient at what they do.
So I don't know. I would imagine you've run across Sonny Dykes at any point in your career?
No, sure haven't.
But
I've got a lot of respect for him and how he's run his programs, and it's a big, big challenge for us.
The quarterback, the Texas transfer, Shane, I don't know how he pronounces his last name. What do you see in that kid?
Yeah, really good player, really good manager of the game, makes great decisions. He doesn't run the ball much, but when he does, he's effective doing it. He gets the ball out of his hands fast. He can make all the throws. He's got some really good receivers to throw it to. I think the chemistry with him and his wideouts is really good. So, again, going to be a really, real challenge.
Is he a dual threat? Can he run the ball?
He sure can. Yeah, and they don't feature him in the run game. Like the guy we saw last week.
He's got the athletic
ability.
ability.
He does. He can get himself out of some situations. A little bit of zone read type stuff that they do with him, but it's not what he primarily does. He wants to throw the football.
So I'm a voter for the Bolitnikoff Award, and I voted for James Prochet from SMU, and he made it. He's a semifinalist. Can you talk about him a little bit? Because he's a pretty good ball player.
Yeah, I would vote for him too. He's a really good player. Runs great routes, has really good hands, really athletic, fast. Runs good routes. He's just a really good football player. And they do a good job of getting him the ball and moving him around a lot. Try to create matchups for him. So, yeah, he's a good player.
So, how do you like the way your defense has responded after Notre Dame? From what you've seen in practice, do you feel that they've, you don't want them to lose their swagger because of one game, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think they've lifted me up. Our players have had a great week of practice. I've said this from the game. They're a resilient group of guys, but we've had one of our better weeks of practice. So really, really impressed with the way that they came out on Tuesday and Wednesday or today. Really, really impressed with the way they've gone about their business. And, nothing's changed here. I think they're hungry to get back on the field and get that bad taste out of their mouth, just like we are as coaches. And I'm excited about watching this group because I know we're going to respond Saturday.
I'm actually doing a feature on Pfeiffer, the long snapper. He just got a pretty big honor from the Special Teams U. What can you say about him? I mean, you have to handle his slaps all the time. You rely on him.
Yeah, a big part of my job is Michael. So he's done a really awesome job this season. Obviously, it's paying off. His snaps are always great, right on my hip. I mean, I can't complain. It sets up a really good punt when you have a great snap. So that's awesome.
So how much of do you all coordinate this? I mean, do you tell him where you like it? Because I was asking him today, and he was telling me where he likes to deliver it for you and to Osborn. But how much do you talk to him about that? And, and is there a speed thing on the punt? Because I know that and I'll talk to JR about it, but they like a 1.2 second get off on place kicks. But what about with punt?
I mean, as long as I can catch the ball, like if it's on my body, I can get a good punt off for the most part. And Michael puts it on my hip or my stomach every single time, so I don't really have to worry about it. I mean, I usually like black out when I punt too, so I don't really remember where the snap goes. So when he asks me and I can't remember where the snap goes, it's usually a good snap.
Right.
If I remember it, then it probably wasn't a good snap, but that rarely ever happens because Michael's always puts it right on my hip. So
how much do you all do the snap? How many times does he snap it to you in practice? I don't really spend a lot of time watching you guys, and I might not be here when you're doing it, but how many snaps do you try to take from him each day?
During actual punt period, I take probably 10 snaps from Mike, and then warming up over here before punt period, I usually take probably 10 to 20 with him, and him and Kyle mixed in. So we get a lot of work in terms of like timing and location, all that kind of stuff.
A lot of pride among the whole special teams unit, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, no doubt.
Right, because important part of the game.
Very important part of the game. Yeah, it's like a one-play drive, so we get out there and we try and put our best foot forward.
Right. Let's just tell Owen, I'm doing a little feature on Pfeiffer. He just got named All-American by the Special Teams University. I think that's a big honor. I don't know much about that organization, but you get named an All-American, that's pretty darn good. What can you say about him and his abilities as a snapper?
I mean, there's not much to say other than he's outstanding. I mean, he's done it for 3 years now, just being all around really solid, making a lot of guys' jobs really easy. I think it's pretty cool too to be in a position like that where your job gets overlooked a lot, and sometimes people don't really, they take for granted what you kind of bring to the team. But in our special teams group, we definitely don't take that for granted. So we're really lucky to have him.
So you're kind of new to the place holding. What when you first started working with him, what is it that makes a good long snapper? I mean, I don't know. He probably helped you along since you were new to doing it, but he told me about the get off time. You could shoot for 1.2 seconds from snap to kick. What can you say about the whole process?
So actually, I've been working with him since I got here. Really, even
as doing holding.
Right, just because when we're off to the side together, we kind of hold for each other, and so I've had experience with him. But this year's my first year actually doing a game. So again, he makes my job a lot easier when he puts the ball, in the right spot. But there's a lot that goes into it more than people think, because the rotation of the ball matters, because that's
right, when the laces
right where depending on the rotation, that's where I catch it, and if the rotation's off, I got to spin it more, and so that just slows down the whole operation. And I mean, he probably gives me good snaps 80-90% of the time. So when it's like that, my job's a lot easier, which makes Bijan's jobs a lot easier too. And so it all starts with him, and he does a great job.
Here for Senior Week, Senior Day, I do a story about the seniors who serve on scout team, because there obviously aren't many that do it. Most guys that are in that position hang it up, retire, say I'm going to focus on academics, military. There's a lot going on here, and it's a lot coming out here every day, working hard, and not being able to play on Saturday is tough. Why have you stuck it out?
So Coach NIUMATALOLO kind of mentioned it before when we were breaking it down today, but the brotherhood isn't just, the guys that are out there on the field. It's also the guys that are out here on the practice field. And I've been on scout team for a long time, since I've been here. And just seeing seniors before me really sticking it out, I think that's a great way to be an example and be a leader, not just on the field, but, to the younger guys. I think really the biggest part of having seniors on scout team is not just, this guy is a scout team guy. It's really just to be that mentor, to be that leader for the other guys. It's really easy for someone to be, especially for the freshmen, to come out here every day, be mad about their role, but to have that kind of clarity to see, okay, this guy's a senior, he's out here working every day, it makes it a lot easier. And sometimes it's even fun when we can get out there, and then obviously we give them a better look every week.
Right. So do you remember some seniors who were on the scout team who maybe set that example for you when you were a younger guy?
Yeah, Buck Elliott was a guy last year, set the example.
Right. What do you try to tell these younger guys? I mean, you are a leader of that unit, and you have to try to get them to understand the importance of what they're doing. Sometimes they probably don't realize how crucial what they do is to give the first team offense and defense a look. What do you try to tell them, Mac?
So that's important. I think the biggest thing is just remembering that we're still all playing football out here, and you can have fun. And just because you're on a scout team doesn't mean that you can't get yourself better. So obviously we all accept we're out here to make the offense look better, the defense look better, get everyone, we all succeed. When we win, we all win. But just giving them that reminder, hey, you're on a scout team, but that doesn't mean that you're stuck here. You can practice the little things every day. if you're holding the bag, you can work on your steps. You can work on your eyes. You can shoot your hands if you need to, even if you're not out there doing individual drills. Right. So I think that's the biggest thing in kind of keeping people focused is not that, oh, it's really important that we got to make them look good. It's like, hey, you can still get better out here and, you can still have fun. So just keeping it kind of loose and just keeping it focused at the same time.
So obviously you were a big star in high school. You were recruited, and you come here and you expected by his junior or senior year you're going to be playing big time football, and it didn't happen for you. How did you persevere through that? And like you said, you wanted to stay part of the team. Kind of just talk about when things don't work out the way you may have expected coming in.
Yeah, you just gotta adapt to your situation and make the best of whatever it is. I think that's probably been my MO since I've been here. Obviously, yeah, everyone wants to play. I really wanted to play. But I think everyone's important on this team, and I was happy to do it my senior year and be that guy that's like, hey, this is important. You guys can get better.
Right. Now you have a connection to Annapolis. Your mother is from here. I imagine you got relatives here in Annapolis. Can you talk a little bit about your Annapolis connections and how many relatives do you still have around? I think your mom is Greek by descent, if I'm correct. Yeah. So a lot of big Greek population here in Annapolis. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so my grandparents moved here a while ago. So my mom's parents, my yaya and papu. So they sponsor me at their house. So that's where I go on the weekends if I need to recuperate, get some good Greek food. Yeah, it's a big part. I mean, my mom's from here. Her brothers are in the area. Cousins, her cousins, great grandaunts, great aunts, and I mean they're all a big part of the Greek church up at St. Constantine and Helen. So like this past 2 weekends ago, we had my yaya retired, and that was good. Just kind of be there for that. All while also still doing everything I'm doing here, just kind of having that connection.
You have a nice support system here.
I do, yeah. And that's something a lot of people take for granted. I'm sure I take it for granted too. It makes it like even if I'm on a scout team out here, like I'm making the team better, but I still have somewhere to go and just relax, recuperate.
So service selection's coming up. What are you hoping to get into?
Navy pilot.
Really? Yep. Very good. All right. Yep. Go down to Pensacola.
Yeah. Hopefully, I think I set myself up well. I did pilot flight this summer, so that was a challenge coming back and forth between practice and flying the plane, and then driving back and forth across Easton and studying. But I think it was worth it. I think it's good practice for later at Pensacola. Yeah.